Introduction. The manual was open. Look out the window. If you are lucky, you will see a bird perched on a branch, a tree swaying with the wind, or perhaps just a simple cloud passing by. Observe them closely. Do you see the bird worried about next year's inflation? Do you see the tree suffering an anxiety crisis because it doesn't know if it will grow enough today? Does it worry about competing with the neighboring tree? Do you see the cloud resisting movement because it is afraid of the unknown? No. In nature, stress does not exist. Doubt does not exist. The bird does not have faith that it will find a worm. The bird knows it is part of a system that provides for it in this world now. The tree does not try to perform photosynthesis. It simply opens itself to the sun and allows light to become wood. Everything in the universe flows with mathematical precision and absolute calm. Except you. The human being is the only creature on the face of the earth that has disconnected from the original operating system today. We are the only ones who have traded intuition for intellect, and in that exchange we lost our peace. We have spent the last centuries locked in libraries and laboratories, writing complex formulas of quantum physics and treatises on metaphysics to try to intellectually explain what a daisy does without any effort at all now. We have called law of attraction what the jungle calls survival. We have called quantum entanglement what the roots of fungi practice every day under your feet. We have complicated God. The premise of this book is radically simple. We do not need more theory, we need more biology. The manual was always open today. The manual for being happy, wealthy, and free was not hidden in a secret scroll in the Himalayas, nor in an indecipherable equation by Einstein. The manual was open. It was written in the patience of the desert. It was written in the orderly fury of the hurricane. It was written in the pressurized silence of the deep sea now. Nature is the 3D printer of metaphysics. It is where invisible laws become visible. In the pages that follow, we will not study abstract theories. We will look at the landscape. We will discover that you have much to learn from a dormant seed in Atacama about how to manage the weight and your own inner growth in this world today. We are going to learn from the chameleon about how to vibrate at the frequency of success. We will learn from the mycelium about how we are invisibly connected to everything we desire. I invite you to stop looking at books and start looking at the mirror. Because nature is not something out there. Nature is what you are now, and nature never fails. Welcome to the oldest physics class in the world. Welcome to the biological mirror. By reconnecting with these primal laws, you will rediscover the effortless power that resides within you, aligning your life with the same infinite intelligence that moves the stars and grows the flowers today. Comparative 1. The desert and the dormant seed. If you traveled to northern Chile, to the Atacama Desert, you would find the most hostile landscape on planet Earth. It is the most arid place in the world. In some areas, not a single drop of rain has fallen in 400 years. The soil is crust, salt, stone, and dust. The sun beats down with implacable ultraviolet radiation today. The wind cuts the skin. If you stood there in the middle of nowhere, your logical brain would reach an inescapable conclusion. There is no life here. This is absolute death. And yet, you would be wrong. Under your boots, hidden just a few centimeters below the burning surface, there is an entire forest sleeping under the sand now. Millions of seeds are there. They look like stones. They are hard as rocks and dry. If you take one and break it, it looks like inert dust. But they are not dead. They are waiting. They can wait 5, 10, or 20 years. And one day, the impossible happens. It rains. And the landscape of death transforms into a garden today. In 24 to 48 hours, an endless carpet of violet, pink, and yellow flowers stretches to the horizon. Life, which seemed non-existent, explodes with a chromatic violence that leaves scientists breathless. How is it possible? The biological answer is latency. The quantum answer is superposition. Your success isn't far, it is just dry now. The illusion of death state of latency. A seed in the desert is not a fantasy of a tree. It is a compressed tree. It contains the complete map of roots, leaves, and fragrance in its DNA. The software is installed, but the hardware is off. To survive a hostile environment, the seed enters a state called latency. It reduces its metabolism to almost zero today. It dehydrates and hardens voluntarily to protect its potential. Its inactivity is not laziness, it is high-intelligence survival strategy. Look at your own life. Perhaps you have a dream, a business, a love. You've wanted it for years, and nothing happens. Your environment is hostile, and you see your dream as a dry, inert stone now. Your logical mind tells you, this is dead, give up. Here you must apply the lesson of the desert. What you call stagnation, nature calls potential management. Your dream has not died. It has entered latency to protect itself from your doubts. It remains intact under the surface of your consciousness, waiting for the trigger today. The fact that you see no results in the 3D world does not mean the information has disappeared. The seed knows how to be a flower, even when it looks like a stone. You know how to be wealthy and happy, even when you appear poor or sad. Latency is a state of protection, not a denial of your ultimate destiny and power now. Schrödinger's cat and the quantum seed. In quantum mechanics, there is a famous principle, superposition. Schrödinger's cat tells us that until we open the box, the cat is both alive and dead at the same time. It is in a superposition of states. Only when the observer looks does the wave of possibility collapse into a particle of reality today. The desert seed is the perfect quantum object. While under the sand it exists in superposition. It is food for a bird, death. It is dust, nothing. Or it is a garden, life. All these realities coexist. What determines what it becomes? The collapse of the wave function. The trigger in the desert is the water now. Water acts as the observer that tells the seed, it is safe to wake up. In your life you are the desert. Your desires are the seeds. What is the water? In metaphysics, water symbolizes emotion and consciousness. You may have seeds of wealth, but if your inner climate is arid, filled with fear or doubt, there is no water today. Without water, the seed stays in a stone state. You don't need more seeds, you need to rain. You need to water your ideas with the emotion of gratitude and faith. Emotion is the agent that softens the hard shell of reality. Many people have the desire, but live in a perpetual emotional drought. Then they blame the seed now. Third, patience is not waiting, it is knowing. Human society has lost the concept of biological time. We live in digital time. Click, and the page appears. We want manifestation to be instantaneous. If we plant today and see no flower tomorrow, we dig up the seed to see if it works. And by digging it up, we kill it. The seed needs darkness and pressure to break today. The desert teaches us active patience. The seed is not waiting bored. It is actively monitoring the environment, listening for moisture and temperature. It is in a state of high alert. That is active faith. Faith is not sitting on the sofa. It is a state of vibratory alert. It is knowing the rain is coming now. Are you ready for your rain? If the opportunity of your life arrived tomorrow, are you prepared to flourish in 24 hours? Do you have the skills and the mindset? The seed maintains its DNA intact for that moment. Your work during the silence of God is to prepare, study, and improve. The quantum jump is instantaneous today. First, the myth of linearity, exponential growth. Humans love linearity. We think, if I work 1 hour, I earn 10. Nature is not linear, nature is exponential. In the desert, growth is 0 for 9 years, and then, on the first day of rain in year 10, 1,000,000 flowers appear. If you were a financial analyst in year 9, you would recommend abandoning the project now. You would have missed the miracle by 1 day. Most people quit just before the tipping point. They quit when the seed was already swollen, about to break the shell. Quantum physics teaches that energy accumulates before manifesting. You are charging the battery. Every visualization is an invisible drop of water on the sand today. It seems the sand swallows the water and it disappears. No, that drop filtered down to the seed. It takes a critical mass of water to activate the biological program. You don't know which drop will be the one that overflows the glass or wakes the seed. That is why you cannot stop. Constancy is the only guarantee of success now. Surviving estivation, the saving strategy. In biology, when heat is unbearable and there is no water, some animals enter estivation. They slow their heart rate and wait. It is a vital lesson for times of crisis. When your life is in a dry spell, do not fight the sand. Do not waste energy complaining. Kicking in quicksand only sinks you faster today. If you are in a dry stage, 1. Conserve energy. Do what is necessary, but do not exhaust yourself. 2. Protect the core. Your core is your vision. Do not let skepticism burn your dream. 3. Keep a cold hope, not a hysterical hope, but a hard certainty. I am a flower. It is only a matter of time now. Nature is not distressed by drought. It accepts it as part of the cycle. Drought is the moment to eliminate the weak. Only strong seeds survive 10 years of sun. Is your desire strong enough to survive the wait? The desert is the great auditor of the quality of your dreams. Use this time to harden your resolve and spirit today. Farsi, the paradox of ephemeral beauty. When the Atacama desert blooms, the show is short. A few weeks, then the sun wins again. Was it a failure? A human would say, how sad. Everything died. Nature says, mission accomplished. In those weeks, the flowers produced millions of new seeds. The desert sleeps again, but now there are triple the seeds than before now. This is the law of cyclic abundance. You will manifest your desire and have your moment of success. Then that moment will pass. Do not be depressed. That cycle has left new seeds in you. Now you have experience and confidence. Do not attach to the flower. Attach to the capacity to bloom. You are the cause today. Sevis, you are not the flower, you are the ecosystem. To close this comparative, change your identity. Stop seeing yourself as a small flower struggling to survive. You are the entire desert. You are the sand that welcomes, the seed that waits, and most importantly, you are the climate. You decide when it rains. You can cause a torrential rain of gratitude right now today. You can saturate your subconscious with the emotion of the wish fulfilled until the earth has no choice but to yield. Look at your problems and say, I am in latency. I am accumulating strength. I am a miracle about to happen. Feel respect for your own resistance. You have endured the sun and thirst, and you are still here now. Quantum physics tells us observation collapses reality. Nature tells us water wakes life. Combine both. Observe your dream with love and without doubt. Know one thing. In the desert, the most beautiful flower is the one no one expected. That flower is you. You are the portal through which the dormant life becomes a reality today. Comparative 2. The jungle Mycelium wood wide web. Walk with me imaginarily into an ancient forest. You see giant treetops competing for sunlight and trunks separated by meters. Your human brain, trained in individualism, interprets this as a war. Every tree is a lonely individual fighting others for resources. The strongest wins, the weakest dies. This is a logical but false interpretation today. What your eyes see is only half the story. If you had X-ray vision, you would see that the roots are not isolated. They are physically connected by a fine, white and viscous network called mycelium. These are millions of fungal threads, mycorrhizae, acting like fiber optic cables, connecting tree A with tree B and C now. Trees talk. They send each other carbon, nitrogen, water, and most impressively, information. If a pest attacks a tree at the edge of the forest, it sends a chemical alarm through the network. Within hours, trees miles away begin to secrete toxins to protect themselves. The forest knows what happens to the individual today. They have named this system the Wood Wide Web. It is the original internet. It teaches us the second vital quantum lesson. Separation is an optical illusion. You have never been alone. You are part of an infinite cooperative system that sustains you, feeds you, and communicates with you through invisible threads of light now. The myth of the self-made man, the lonely tree. Our culture adores the self-made man, the lonely entrepreneur who beats the world. Nature laughs at that concept. In the forest, a tree disconnected from the mycelial network has a ridiculous life expectancy. Without the network, it is vulnerable to disease and drought. The network is its life insurance policy today. However, humans behave like disconnected trees. We say, I don't want to ask for help. That is ego arrogance. The ego makes you believe your skin is the limit of your being. Quantum physics and mycology tell us your skin is a membrane, not a wall. You are a node in an invisible human network, Reconnect to the mycelium now. The quantum protocol consists of understanding that if you have a need, the universe already has the solution in another node of the network. Your job is to allow the transfer. Stop trying to solve your problems using only your small, local brain. Access the resources available in the infinite web of consciousness today. Quantum entanglement. Spooky action at a distance. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. It is now a proven fact. Quantum entanglement. If we take two particles that have interacted and separate them by miles, changing the state of one instantly changes the other. There is no signal traveling. It is immediate. The space between them is a physical illusion now. The jungle mycelium is the biological version of entanglement. We are all entangled. Therefore, the physical distance between you and the solution to your problem is irrelevant. You need money. It is in a client's pocket. You need love. They are in another city. For the field, they are just a ping away from you today. When you change your internal state, when you flip your spin to abundance, the corresponding node in the network must react instantly to balance the equation. It is not magic. It is the mechanics of entangled systems. Your internal shift triggers a global rearrangement to match your new frequency and your highest needs now. Thanks to the mother tree, the hierarchy of help, Suzanne Simard discovered that the oldest trees act as mother trees. They connect to hundreds of young ones. The mother tree, with its canopy in the sun, pumps excess sugar through the mycelium to young trees in the shade. The large tree keeps the small ones alive. The forest is a community of absolute support today. There are spiritual and physical mother trees. Sometimes you are the small tree in the shade. Do not despair, connect to the network. Prayer is opening the reception valve of the mycelium. You must also be a mother tree when you have sun. If you have abundance, it is your biological duty to share to keep the network healthy now. First to intuition, the data download. How does the connection to the mycelium feel? It is called intuition. Your conscious brain is like an old computer without an internet connection. It only has the files you saved in your memory. Intuition is the moment you connect to the Wi-Fi. Suddenly you have access to the cloud and its infinite solutions today. In the cloud are the answers you haven't lived yet. You download a sudden idea. Call John. You didn't think of it, you received it. Geniuses like Tesla said they tuned in to ideas. To be a quantum genius, stop squeezing your logical brain and start improving your receiving antenna. The forest is smarter than the tree now. Telepathy, the network ping. If trees warn each other of pests miles away, we can call each other too. You think of someone you haven't seen in years, and 2 minutes later, they call. This was a ping in the network. You thought of them, the signal traveled the field, and it stimulated their brain to act. You have a brutal summoning power today. If you need clients, call them through the mycelium. In meditation, visualize your ideal client and send a signal. I am here. I have the solution for you. Do it with the certainty of a tree sending carbon. You will be surprised at how emails and calls arrive out of nowhere. It's not from nowhere, it's from the network now. Facet competition is for the disconnected. In the jungle, cooperation is the dominant force because competition wastes energy. Our society sells the idea that for me to win, you must lose. This mentality cuts your mycelial threads. When you feel envy, you tell the network that success is bad. The network responds by keeping success far away from you today. Practice mudita, compassionate joy. When you see someone succeed, rejoice. Their success is proof that success exists in the network and is near you. By celebrating others, you adopt the frequency of success. You tell the mycelium, I like this. Bring me more. Connect to the success of others to fuel your own now. 7. Distance healing, the mirror effect. If we are connected, my healing affects the network. Dr. Hugh Len cured a whole ward of psychiatric criminals by healing in himself what he felt while reading their files. He said, if they are in my reality, they share a thread with me. If I clean the thread from my side, their side is clean too in this world today. This gives you power over your conflicts. Do not try to change others. Heal the part of you that is irritated or afraid. Clean the connection. Send sugar, love, forgiveness through the thread that joins you to that person. It is impossible for them to act the same if you change the signal you send. The network reconfigures now. Bait. The danger of toxic networks. The mycelium can also transmit poison. In human society, there are toxic nodes, environments of complaint and mental poverty. If you are emotionally connected to people vibrating in fear, you receive that toxin constantly. Fluid physics wins. 5 tanks of dirty water will soil 1 tank of clean water in your life today. Part of your job is to prune connections. It doesn't mean you stop loving them. It means setting energetic limits. I love you, but I won't participate in this depressing conversation. Closing toxic pathways frees up bandwidth to connect to nutritious nodes. Tell me which mycelium you connect to and I'll tell you your fruit now. Psychically practical exercise, the forest pulse. To integrate this, do this exercise when you feel alone. 1. Root. Imagine light roots from your spine to the Earth's center. 2. Visualize the network. See those roots connecting to an infinite white web covering the planet. 3. Request transfer. Send a pulse. I am ready to receive abundance today. 4. Receive. Visualize golden lights traveling from the network into your roots and body. 5. Thank. Feel the support of the universe. When you finish, walk with the certainty that your order has been dispatched. Someone, somewhere is putting on their shoes right now to come and help you in your physical reality now. X, you are the forest. Change your identity. Stop being the tree, be the forest. The tree fears death and drought. The forest is immortal and manages the climate. When you raise your consciousness to unity, the fear of survival disappears. Your desires are the forest trying to express itself through you. The universe wants you to be happy now. It wants you to be wealthy, because then the universe is wealthier. You don't have to convince God to give you things. You have to stop blocking the flow that God is already trying to send you. You are an irreplaceable piece of a giant divine plan. Trust the network, sustain the connection, and let the forest flourish through you today. Comparative 3. The iceberg and the depth of the ocean. Look at a photograph of an iceberg floating in the North Atlantic. It is a majestic white mountain, shining under the sun. It seems solid and immense. But any sailor or physicist knows the terrifying truth. What you see is only 10% of reality. Due to Archimedes' principle, 90% of that mass is submerged in the frozen darkness of the ocean today. If a captain navigates based only on what his eyes see, the 10%, disaster is mathematically inevitable. This is what happened to the Titanic. It didn't hit the white mountain above. It tore its hull against the invisible mass below. Now, look at your life. Your house, your job, your bank account. That is your tip of the iceberg now. It is noisy, it shines, it can be touched, but it is only 10%. The 90% of your existence, the critical mass that determines if your life floats or sinks, is submerged. It lies in your subconscious mind and the invisible quantum field. Most humans live their lives surfing on the surface, obsessed with the waves and the gossip today. They try to fix their problems by painting the tip of the iceberg a different color. I'll smile more to be happy. But if the underwater current, your deep beliefs, drags the iceberg south, it doesn't matter what color you paint the tip. The iceberg will go south. To change your destiny, you must stop fighting the waves and change the currents now. By the tyranny of the surface, the optical illusion. The ocean has 2 worlds. The surface, photic zone. Light, noise, wind and waves. It is chaotic. The weather changes every hour. This is where boats and swimmers live. The depth, a photic zone. From 200 meters down, light disappears. At 4,000 meters, pressure is crushing. Silence is absolute. There is no weather, only eternity today. Your mind works the same way. Your conscious mind is the surface, analytical, noisy, and it changes its mind every 5 minutes. Your subconscious mind is the depth, silent, dark, and automatic. It controls your heart and habits. You can have a hurricane on the surface, but if you go down 50 meters, the water is completely still now. Peace is not the absence of a storm on the surface. It is the ability to descend to the depth where the storm cannot touch you. The spiritual master knows how to go down to the underwater refuge when the surface goes crazy. If you react to the news or your partner's mood, you are a drifting cork. If you live from the depth, you are the ocean today. Challenge pressure creates diamonds and realities. In the deep sea, pressure is 1,000 times higher than at the surface. This pressure would crush a normal submarine like a soda can, yet fish live there happily. Why is this important? Because pressure is necessary for materialization. To become matter, energy needs to be compressed. Carbon only becomes a diamond under extreme pressure now. An idea gas becomes reality, solid, only under the pressure of focus. On the surface of your mind, pressure is low because your thoughts are scattered. To manifest, you must take your desire to the depth, into the subconscious, through deep meditation or intense emotion. In the depth, focus becomes a laser that solidifies the quantum wave today. Thresh darkness, the womb of creation. We have a phobia of darkness, associating it with fear, but biology teaches the opposite. Where does the seed germinate? In the darkness of the earth. Where is the fetus formed? In the darkness of the womb. Where is your body regenerated? In the darkness of deep sleep. Light is for celebrating, but darkness is for creating now. The quantum field is a dark ocean of pure potential. If you want to reinvent yourself, you cannot do it under the spotlight of public life. You must retreat to your cave. Do not be afraid if you are in a dark stage of your life. You are in the womb. You are gestating. Learn to love your darkness. It is your private workshop where you rewrite your code today. The thermohaline circulation, the conveyor belt. The planet's climate doesn't depend on surface waves, but on a massive, slow current in the abyss called the thermohaline circulation. It takes 1,000 years to travel the world, but it is what distributes heat. Your deep currents are your root beliefs and paradigms. Money is hard. I am not worthy. These move slow and deep now. You try to change your life by changing the clouds, surface actions like changing jobs or cities, but soon, the same problems return because you didn't change the deep current. Until you go to the bottom and divert that massive flow through high emotional impact, the climate on the surface will not change permanently. You must redesign the flow today. The Titanic syndrome, blind navigation. Most people operate with the Titanic syndrome. They have an arrogant ego, the captain, that thinks it controls the ship. The captain says, "I will be a millionaire." But the iceberg, subconscious, has a brutal inertia toward poverty. The ship creaks. This is self-sabotage, a conflict of masses where the 90% always wins now. Willpower is a muscle of the 10%. It gets tired. The 90% programming never tires. To avoid shipwreck, stop trying to turn the wheel with brute force. You must melt the iceberg with heat. In metaphysics, heat is love and acceptance. Do not attack your subconscious, accept it. The heat of loving awareness dissolves the hardest blocks today. Buoyancy, the law of vibration. If you drop a stone, it sinks. If you drop a cork, it floats. It is a matter of density. In the quantum universe, gravity is vibration. Dense emotions like guilt and fear are like lead. They sink you to the bottom of reality where there is struggle. Light emotions like joy and gratitude are like cork. They make you rise to the light now. To rise, you don't need strength to climb. You only need to release the weight. Forgiveness is not a moral act. It is an act of buoyancy engineering. You forgive to let go of the stone holding you at the bottom. The moment you release resentment, you rise like a rocket without effort. It is the law of the cork. Release the stones today. 7. Bioluminescence, the own light. In the abyss, animals have developed a superpower, bioluminescence. They create their own light and do not depend on the external sun. They are self-sufficient. This is the ultimate lesson. When the outside world, economy, politics, darkens, you cannot wait for dawn. You must turn on your inner light to navigate the deep today. The true master shines brighter, the darker the environment becomes. If you depend on external circumstances to be happy, you are a vulnerable surface creature. If you generate your own joy from within, you are an invincible creature of the depths. No one can turn off a light that is born from inside. Be the light in the dark ocean now. Face the silence of the trench, the no-signal zone. We are spiritually grounded by digital noise. The voice of your intuition, the voice of God, is very low frequency. It is impossible to hear it on the noisy surface. You must go down to the trench. Practice radical silence. Turn off the phone. Sit in a dark room. After a few minutes, you will cross the noise barrier into deep calm today. In that silent black void, you will hear the coordinates. Do this. Go there. Great ideas and solutions to impossible problems always come from the bottom of the sea. Nothing great was ever discovered by watching TikTok on the surface. Lower your frequency, find the silence, and listen to the data packets being downloaded into your soul now. Twice to pressure adaptation, the bends. Divers know that if they rise too fast, their blood boils. This is the bends. The body needs time to adapt internal pressure to external pressure. This explains why lottery winners go broke. They rose too fast without decompression. Their structure wasn't adapted to the new pressure. Nature teaches that growth must be organic today. If you want to handle great amounts of energy, money, power, you must first reinforce your hull. Strengthen your character and emotional stability. If you ask for $1 million but have the emotional structure of a child, the pressure will destroy you. Do not ask for the pressure to drop. Ask for your capacity to withstand it to increase now. Practical exercise, the diver's descent. 1. The surface, beta. Close your eyes. Notice your fast thoughts. 2. The immersion, alpha. Breathe slow. Imagine sinking. The noise fades. The light turns blue. 3. The depth, theta. The blue turns black. Total silence. Sensation of the water's embrace. You are in the womb of the universe. Plant your desire here now. See your desire shine in the dark like a luminous fish. Let it go. 4. The ascent. Rise slowly, bringing that peace with you. When you open your eyes, you will know a secret. Beneath the noise, in the deep, your desire is already traveling toward you on the thermohaline current. Nothing on the surface can stop it from arriving today. Comparative 4. The chameleon and mimicry. Imagine you are walking through a Madagascar jungle. You stop in front of a branch full of dry leaves. You look at the leaves, brown, wrinkled, with dry veins. But suddenly, one of those leaves blinks. Then, it fires a sticky tongue at lightning speed to catch a fly. You jump back. What your eyes swore was a dead leaf was a leaf-tail gecko today. It is not that the animal was hiding behind a leaf. It is that the animal had visually become the leaf. It had modified its posture, its texture, and its cellular pigmentation to exactly match the light frequency of its environment. In nature, mimicry is not a costume. It is a cellular reconfiguration. It is the art of being to attract now. The chameleon or the octopus have special cells called chromatophores. They expand or contract to reflect specific wavelengths of light. The animal does not think about being green. The animal vibrates in green. It merges with the reality it wishes to inhabit. If it wants to be on the rock, it becomes the rock. The predator passes it by today. Welcome to Comparative 4. Today we learn the hardest lesson for the human ego. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. The universe works like a predator or prey. It does not see your intentions. It sees your vibratory color. If you vibrate as scared poor, the universe treats you as such. Reconfigure your soul now. The universe is a radio, law of resonance. Let's start with the physics of sound. If you have 2 tuning forks tuned to A, 440 Hz, and you hit one, the other will start to vibrate on its own. This is sympathetic resonance. But if you hit a fork tuned to C, the A fork stays still. They are different frequencies, they do not speak. The universe is a giant orchestra playing for you today. Every possible reality emits a specific frequency. Wealth vibrates in security, freedom, generosity. Poverty vibrates in fear, contraction, urgency. You are the tuning fork. Your dominant emotional state is your musical note. The problem is trying to trick the universe with words while your body plays a different note now. You say affirmations like, "I'm abundant," but your stomach is tight with fear over bills. Your body is vibrating in the note of scarcity. The reality of wealth, passes through you without touching you. There is no resonance. The universe is deaf to your words but has absolute ears for your vibration. Stop asking and start embodying today. So, the biology of fake it until you make it. In personal development, fake it until you make it has a bad reputation. It sounds like lying. But biology tells us it is a legitimate strategy. When a mimic octopus imitates a venomous sea snake to scare a predator, is it lying? Yes and no. It uses the information of the snake to obtain a real result, survival in this world now. In neuroscience, this is called mental rehearsal or self-directed neuroplasticity. The brain does not distinguish between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. If you walk, talk, and dress like a successful person, your brain begins to secrete testosterone and dopamine, as if you were truly successful. You change today. Your chromatophores, by neurons, start changing color. At first it feels fake, it's the costume. But if you sustain the mimicry long enough, the structure solidifies. Neural connections become highways. There comes a moment when you are no longer faking. The costume has eaten the character. You have become what you imitated now. Tear the error of need, prey vibration. In the jungle there is an unmistakable vibration, the vibration of the prey. A frightened animal emits fear pheromones. Its movements are erratic. The predator smells this from miles away. In human society, need is the vibration of the prey. When you desperately need money or love, you emit signals of a prey today. You go to a job interview and your anxiety is visible. You go to a date and your desperation to please is obvious. What does the universe, the great predator, do? It flees from you or attacks you. Money flees from needy people. Because need screams, "I do not have." By the law of resonance, lack attracts more emptiness in your life now. The chameleon teaches us to vibrate in neutrality or belonging. When the chameleon is on a branch, it is not needing the branch. It is part of the branch. To manifest, you must eliminate the vibration of need. Have the attitude, "I would love to work here, but if I don't get it, I'll be fine." That is the vibration of the lion today. IV, the octopus, texture and shape. Mimicry is not just visual color. Cephalopods also change the texture of their skin. They can grow spikes to look like coral. This is vital. Many people try to change their color, positive thinking, but keep their old texture, poor habits. They think of millions but have a dirty house. This is incoherence now. They think of health but eat junk. The universe looks and says, "You look like a leaf in color, but to the touch you are an animal. I caught you." To mimic your golden timeline, you must change your texture, change your microscopic habits. How does your future self sit? How do they walk? How do they treat others? Embody success today. V, the Trojan horse, social infiltration. If you want to raise your standard of living, you will have to enter social circles that vibrate higher than you do now. If you enter that circle vibrating low, feeling inferior or being a fan, the group's immune system will detect you as a virus and expel you. To stay, you need to use social mimicry to blend in today. Learn the codes of the group. Learn to speak their language. Learn to be comfortable in silence. The rich often talk less and listen more. Dress for the occasion. You infiltrate like a Trojan horse. By mimicking, you lower the group's defenses. They accept you as one of our own. Once inside, you are exposed to their vibration now. By osmosis, mirror neurons, you start to absorb their way of thinking and their luck. This is not being a social climber, it is being a student of frequencies. You go there to learn the vibration of success, and to learn it, you have to merge with it. You become a participant in a higher reality by simply aligning with its norms today. Filke, mirror neurons, the brain's Wi-Fi. Biology gave us an evolutionary gift, mirror neurons. When you see someone do something, the exact same neurons activate in your brain as if you were doing it. The brain simulates the action. This is the basis of learning and empathy. It is also the basis of your current reality and the people you surround yourself with today. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is pure biology. Your mirror neurons are constantly copying your environment. If your friends complain and have no ambition, you are practicing complaint and apathy 24 hours a day. You are becoming them through automatic mimicry. Hack your neurons now. If you can't change friends physically yet, change your virtual friends. Spend hours listening to people you admire. Let your mirror neurons copy geniuses. Trick your brain into believing you live surrounded by giants. The brain will eventually copy their patterns. Mimicry works both ways, toward mediocrity or toward excellence today. 7. The danger of contrast, tall poppy syndrome. There is another vital reason for camouflage: protection. In nature, if you stand out too much without the strength to defend yourself, you die. In society, there is the tall poppy syndrome. Society tends to cut the head off anyone who stands out too fast. Envy is the herd's control mechanism. Do not be a target now. When you start to change, if you shout it to the world, "I'm going to be a millionaire," you break mimicry with your group. You become visible, and the group will attack. The wise chameleon changes color before moving. The quantum engineer works in silence. Use camouflage to go unnoticed, while you gestate your success in secret today. 5. The paradox of authenticity. Many will say, "But this is being fake. I want to be authentic." Beware of the authenticity trap. Often what you call my true self is just your old program, your addiction to being the victim. "I am just like this," you say. No, that is a state, not an identity. A chameleon is still a chameleon when it turns green or brown now. Your authentic self, the observer, has no fixed form or color. It is pure potential. You have the divine right to choose which mask persona you want to wear. If the poor and honest mask makes you unhappy, why is it more authentic than the rich and generous one? Both are roles. Choose the mask that expands your soul today. 6. The leap of faith walking on water. There is a critical moment in mimicry, when the chameleon lets go of the old branch to grab the new one. For a split second, it is in the air, with no defined color, vulnerable. In your life, it's when you act rich, but your bank account is still zero. This is the test of faith. It is walking on water in your world now. You are walking on a reality that is not yet solid. The only thing keeping it solid is your conviction. If you look down and doubt, you sink. If you keep your eyes on the vision and keep walking with the texture of success, the water solidifies under your feet. 3D reality always arrives with a delay. Maintain the act today. As practical exercise, the holographic suit. 1. Define the goal. Who do you want to become? 2. Modeling. Find a real reference. How do they breathe? What words do they use? 3. Suit visualization. Before leaving home, imagine a holographic suit in front of you. It contains the attributes of your desire. 4. Put it on. Step inside and feel the invisible zipper now. 5. Frequency adjustment. Your posture changes. Your chin rises. Say, "I am now in desired identity mode." 6. Go out into the world. For the next few hours, do not react as you. React as the character in the suit would. If something bad happens, ask, "What would my abundant self do?" Play this game like a child today. Children are the best manifestors because they are not ashamed to imagine. Become the chameleon. Disappear into your desire until you and the desire are one. By practicing this daily, you bridge the gap between imagination and physical form, allowing the universe to recognize and deliver the reality you have already inhabited now. Comparative 5. The Mirage in the Dunes. Place yourself mentally in the heart of the Sahara at noon. The sun is at its zenith. The heat is so intense that the air trembles. You have been walking for hours. You are thirsty. Suddenly, you look at the horizon and see it. Water. A beautiful blue lake, fresh and bright, reflecting the sky. Hope floods your body in this world today. You run, spending your last energy to reach the shore. But as you advance, the lake recedes. When you finally reach the spot where the water was, there is only dry, hot sand. You look ahead, and the lake has reappeared a kilometer further. If you keep chasing it, you will die. What you saw was not a hallucination, it was a mirage now. It is called atmospheric refraction. The ground is so hot that the rays of light curve upward. Your eye, designed to believe light travels in a straight line, interprets that curved light coming from the ground as the sky reflected on a liquid surface. There is no water. It is the sky lying on the ground. It is a lie of the light today. Welcome to Comparative 5. Today we face the most uncomfortable truth. Your life is full of false lakes. Most of the things that scare you, scarcity, illness, what they will say, have the same consistency as that desert lake. They look solid, and your body reacts with real fear. But they aren't there. We will study the physics of illusion now. I, the empty atom, reality is a hologram. To understand why your senses lie, we must go to the subatomic level. You touch a table and feel it is hard. But quantum physics proved 100 years ago that solidity is a cosmic joke. If we enlarged an atom until the nucleus was the size of a basketball, the electrons would be pinheads spinning on the outskirts of the city today. What is in between? Nothing, empty space. 99.99999% of your body and your money is void. If we removed the empty space from all humans on Earth, the remaining solid matter would fit in a sugar cube. You don't fall through your chair because of force fields. Your butt and the chair magnetically repel each other in your life now. Reality is literally a hologram of light and energy. This is vital for your success because you live terrified of matter. I have no money. Matter. You give these problems absolute authority because you believe they are solid. The quantum protocol tells you they are not. They are energy fields frozen by your observation today. Thirst creates the lake, desire as distortion. The physical mirage happens because of ground heat, but the psychological mirage happens because of the heat of desire. If you weren't thirsty, you'd see the shimmer and say, refraction, curious. But because you have thirst, your brain interprets the shimmer as salvation. Need distorts perception in this world now. The mirage of money. You feel insecure. You believe $1 million would make you safe. The lake. You sacrifice your life to reach it, only to find you still feel insecure, just in a more expensive car. External water never quenches internal thirst. If you seek security outside, you will always chase a receding horizon today. The only way to break the spell is to drink before you look. Drink from your internal well, your connection to being. When you are hydrated with self-love and peace, mirages stop hypnotizing you. You see money for what it is, a tool, not a god. You see a partner as a companion, not a savior. You become the source of your own life now. Third, the wall of fire, fear is smoke. Wildland firefighters know that fire sometimes creates a curtain of smoke so dense it looks like a solid black wall. Instinct screams, "Don't pass, you'll die." But thermal sensors often show there is no fire behind it, just residual smoke. To save yourself, you must go against your visual instinct and walk through the wall today. In your life, fear is that wall. Fear is an expert in special effects. It takes a small situation and projects a giant shadow on the wall of your mind. You see the monster and paralyze, but the monster is just the shadow of a mouse projected by the light of fear. It has no substance. Action dissolves the illusion in your world now. The Dune Walker exercise consists of walking through the fear. When you feel terror about public speaking or investing, recognize that wall in your stomach is a chemical mirage. It is adrenaline and cortisol curving your perception. If you take the step, you will find there was nothing on the other side. The wall vanishes today. Fear the unreachable horizon, the when trap. The mirage is always beyond, never here. This is the ego's time trap. It tells you, you will be happy when you get the house. You walk toward that when you get the house. Are you happy? For a few days maybe, but then the mirage moves. You will be happy when you pay the mortgage. The horizon has shifted again now. The horizon is an imaginary line. It does not exist. It is defined by its distance from you. Likewise, you can never reach happiness if you define it as something in the future. Happiness in the future is an optical mirage. The only real water is in the here and now. Either you are happy today or you never will be today, because tomorrow, when it arrives, will be called today. Stop walking toward the lake. Stop waiting for the conditions to be perfect to start living your life. Sit in the sand, dig a well within yourself, and drink now. The depth of your own presence is the only place where the thirst of the soul is truly quenched in this life now. V Fata Morgana, the distortion of authority. A superior mirage called Fata Morgana creates illusions of floating castles or flying ships. It fooled the most expert captains. In our society, Fata Morgana are collective beliefs. The economy is terrible. At your age, you can't start a business. These are massive projections with huge apparent density today. They seem like facts on the news, but they are mental agreements. If you accept the social fata morgana, you will go broke in the crisis. But the quantum engineer has the power to dissent from the collective hallucination. You can look at the crisis and say, that is your reality. In mine, there are opportunities now. By withdrawing your attention from the collective illusion, it stops affecting you. You become immune to mass hypnosis. You walk among the ruined and prosper because you don't live in the floating castle. You live on the firm ground of your own creation. Your personal frequency is the anchor that keeps you stable today. Thrice eyes lie, limited bandwidth. Why is it so easy to deceive a human? Because our senses are ridiculous. The electromagnetic spectrum is infinite, but your eyes see less than 1%. You are functionally blind to 99% of reality. If you could see Wi-Fi and radio waves, your room would look like a psychedelic club right now. Your eyes lie to you today. They say the room is empty. They lie, it is full. They say there is no way out of this problem. They are lying again. They are limited by biological bandwidth. Around you, in the invisible spectrum, there are solutions and energy. The mirage is believing, what I see is all there is. Trust your intuition instead now. 7. The mirror of scarcity, the empty lake. Physics says the mirage is a reflection of the sky. If the sky has clouds, the lake has clouds. It only reflects what is above. Your 3D reality, money, work, is the mirage on the ground. Your mind, beliefs, emotions, is the sky. If your mental sky is cloudy with poverty thoughts, the ground will reflect poverty today. You run toward work trying to pull wealth from the ground, but the ground is only a mirror. It is useless to change the reflection by scrubbing the floor, working harder in 3D without changing your mindset. You must change the sky. If you put a radiant sun of gratitude in your sky, the lake on the ground will shine now. 8. The initiate's trial, staying still. In desert stories, the master tells the disciple, you will see demons, you will see oases, do not move. If you move, you are lost. This is the stability test. When you start to manifest, the ego counterattacks with terrifying mirages, a bank letter or a strange pain. It is a fear mirage to see if you run today. If you panic, you validate the illusion and make it real. You collapse the wave into disaster. If you stay still and say, this is a distortion, I do not accept this as my final truth, the mirage flickers and vanishes. The universe rewards the one who doesn't blink. Holding the gaze at fear dissolves it in your world now. Try the true oasis, digging vertically. If water isn't on the horizon, where is it? In the desert, life exists in oases. An oasis isn't water from outside. It is groundwater that found a way up. The aquifer was always there. To find water, don't run horizontally toward the future. Dig vertically into yourself. Deepen your own internal connection today. Your peace and wealth are internal aquifers beneath layers of limiting beliefs, the sand. The work is removing sand through deprogramming. The more judgments and fears you remove, the closer you get to the water. When it bursts forth, it creates a garden. You become an oasis where others come to drink and find life now. Practical exercise, dismantling the ghost. 1. Identify the mirage. Think of something causing anxiety. 2. The truth question. Ask, is this true right now in this exact second? Look around. Do you have a roof? Are you breathing? Then the threat is a mental projection. It is hot air. 3. Touch the wall. Visualize the worst scenario today. Imagine walking through it and remaining alive, still breathing, still able to create. 4. Dissolve solidity. Say, this is not solid, this is energy. I withdraw my attention from fear and put it on the solution. 5. Refocus. Drink from the water of gratitude for what you do have now. The refraction ceases today. Comparative 6. The tide and the moon. Go to an Atlantic beach at 10 in the morning. The sea hits the rocks, the water is high, full of noise and foam. Return at 4 in the afternoon. The sea has vanished. It has receded hundreds of meters. Where there were once waves, there is now wet sand and exposed crabs. If you didn't know how the planet works, you would panic today. You would think, the sea is drying up, we've lost the water. You would run with buckets trying to refill the shore. But the old fisherman on the pier doesn't flinch. He knows something you don't. The sea hasn't left. It is only gathering momentum. He knows that the retreat is an absolute physical requirement for the return now. He knows the water obeys a silent magnet, 384,000 kilometers away. The moon. Welcome to Comparative 6. Today we cure your anxiety about constant progress. Modern society has sold you a lie, the upward straight line. They say your life must improve every day, and your happiness must be permanent. But nature hates straight lines today. Nature loves cycles. Today we learn the law of rhythm. We will discover that your moments of depression or stagnation are not system errors. They are the low tide. If you learn to respect the low tide instead of fighting it, the next high tide will carry you further than ever. Trust the natural flow of your energetic cycles now. Linearity versus the wisdom of the circle. Look at a heart monitor. Beep, 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 it goes up and down. That is life. If the line becomes flat and constant, that is death. Yet, you seek the flat line in your personal life. You want to be always okay. When a bad month arrives, you think you have failed. You haven't failed, you are simply breathing in your world today. The universe is a giant lung. Expansion, yang, high tide. Action, noise, spending energy. Contraction, yin, low tide. Rest, silence, recharging energy. You cannot exhale forever. Productivity culture is an asthmatic society. We try to live in eternal expansion. The tide teaches that retreat is a recovery of power now. The invisible moon, action at a distance. What moves trillions of tons of water without touching them? The moon has no hands, it uses magnetism. It is an invisible, silent force, but brutally effective. Here is the quantum lesson. Your 3D reality is the water, heavy and visible. Your intention or spirit is the moon, invisible and silent in the subtle plane today. You don't have to go to the beach and push the water with your hands. You have to be the moon. Stay in your orbit and exert a constant magnetic attraction over your circumstances. Many exhaust themselves trying to move the water, being water. You must rise. If you keep your gravity firm, the water of your life must rise now. Threat, the intertidal zone, surviving the void. There is a strip on the coast called the intertidal zone. The animals there are the most resilient on the planet. They must live in abundance, water, and survive scarcity, dryness, twice a day. Their secret? When the water leaves, they close hermetically. They keep a drop of seawater inside their shell and seal the door today. They wait. They don't waste energy. They know the water will return. You are in the intertidal zone right now. Maybe the money or love has gone. What do? Do like the muscle. Close yourself. Enter your inner world. Save the drop of water of your last victory and wait with dignity. Do not beg for water or chase the tide now. 5e, the danger of high tide. High tide is also dangerous. When everything goes well, you tend to build your house on the shore. You think the sea will stay there forever. You forget the rhythm. The biological master builds on firm ground, their inner self, where the tide doesn't reach. Enjoy the high tide, but do not attach your identity to it today. Money is a flow, not a pond. If you attach to the high tide, you live in fear of losing it. If you accept the rhythm, when the money leaves, you say, "Goodbye, thanks for the visit." Ironically, this lack of fear is what makes the dry cycles shorter and the high tides longer. Fear lengthens the drought, trust shortens it now. V-sailing with the current timing. Ancient sailors had no motors. To leave the port, they had to wait for the ebbing tide. If they tried to leave against the tide, they fought tons of water and didn't advance an inch. They seemed lazy, waiting at the bar. But when the tide turned, they set sail and shot into the ocean without effort, riding the giant today. There are moments to act and moments to wait. This is divine timing. If you have a great idea but everything feels blocked, you are rowing against the tide. The ego says, "Work harder." The tide says, "Wait." If you read the signals, you will rest. Then suddenly the energy unlocks. Eyes are the sails now. Each stroke takes you 100 meters now. Vi emotional gravity, you are the moon. How do you increase your gravity to attract bigger tides? Gravity depends on mass. In spiritual terms, your mass is your density of presence. Most people are fragmented. Part of their mind is in the past, part on the phone. They have little mass and attract tiny manifestations. You must condense your energy today. To attract a tsunami of abundance, you must bring all your energy to the here and now. Be so present and solid in your gratitude that your gravitational field bends the fabric of reality. When you enter a room with that density, opportunities move toward you. Accumulate silence to increase your energetic weight and pull now. 7. The cleaning of the low tide. When the sea recedes, it exposes the trash on the bottom, plastics and decay. It's ugly but necessary to clean the seabed. When you enter a crisis, the sea of your distraction recedes, and your trash, traumas and fears is exposed. Do not beg for the water to return and cover it. Thank the low tide for this deep cleaning today. It is the moment to see what was at the bottom, heal it, and remove it from your beach. If the water never went down, the trash would accumulate until it rotted the whole ocean. Your crises are deep cleaning services. Put on your gloves and clean your mental beach. Clean money only arrives at clean beaches in your life now. Fairs, the lunar cycle, 28-day manifestation. The human biology is synchronized with the 29.5-day lunar cycle. Use it as a quantum agenda. 1. New moon, sowing, plant the intention. 2. Waxing, moon, sprouting, first inspired actions. 3. Full moon, harvesting, energy is at its peak, make yourself visible. 4. Waning moon, releasing, rest and forgive today. If you try to start something big during the waning moon, you'll feel like you're swimming against the current. If you try to rest during the full moon, you'll feel anxiety from unused energy. Synchronize your biological clock with the cosmic clock. Stop being a disconnected city dweller and become a druid of your own time now. Tied to the promise of the return. Engrave this in your mind. It is a physical law that every downward move is followed by an upward move of equal or greater magnitude. The pendulum cannot stay on the side of pain unless you interfere with resistance. If you hold on to the side of pain, you stop the momentum. Let go, hit rock bottom. It is solid ground for the leap today. Rock bottom is where you take the impulse to shoot toward the surface. No one drowns by falling into the water. They drown by staying there, kicking without air. Relax into the cycle. Say, this too shall pass. The tide is already turning. Your willingness to descend is the very thing that guarantees your eventual ascent now. Practical exercise, the tide registry. This week, become an oceanographer of your emotions. 1. Observe your energy. Do you feel expansive, doing, talking, or contractive, silence, reading? 2. Respect the data. If expansive, attack your goals. If contractive, cancel non-essential plans and sleep early. Do not make big decisions in cleaning mode today. The low tide mantra. When you feel blocked, repeat, I am in strategic retreat. I am gathering momentum. I will return with more strength. Stop medicating your sadness and start listening to it. Perhaps your sadness is telling you that you need to rest deeply before the next great adventure begins in your world now. Comparative 8. The Eye of the Hurricane. Imagine you are the pilot of a hurricane hunter aircraft. You are flying toward monsters the size of continents. As you approach, the sky turns black. Rain hits the fuselage like bullets. Winds reach 250 km/h, tearing off roofs and demolishing cities. It is absolute chaos. It is the fury of nature unleashed today in your world now. But you keep flying toward the center. Suddenly, silence. The plane stops shaking, the wind ceases. You look up and see the blue sky. The sun comes out. The sea below looks like a calm pool. You have entered the eye of the hurricane. It is a column of air at the geometric center of the storm. Here there is a surreal peace today. Physics tells us something fascinating. Without that center of calm, the storm could not exist. The hurricane rotates around that low pressure point. The eye is the axis. It is the master of the structure. If the eye filled with clouds and wind, the hurricane would dissipate instantly. Chaos depends on the stability of the center now. Welcome to Comparative 8. Today we talk about your life. Your life is a hurricane. There are bills flying, family crises spinning, and emotions hitting the windows. Most people live in the eye wall, being beaten and dragged by debris. The quantum master does something counterintuitive. They move toward the center today. Study the geometry of chaos, centrifugal force versus axis. Analyze rotational physics. For a wheel to spin fast, the axis must be absolutely still. If the axis moves, the car crashes. The faster the periphery, the external world, spins, the stiller the center, your internal world, must be. We live in times of historical acceleration where technology and society spin faster and faster today. Stress is the centrifugal force trying to eject you from your center. If you try to move at the speed of the world, you will disintegrate. Anxiety is the symptom of having lost your axis. Power resides in immobility. The I does nothing. It simply is. Because it is in its place, everything else revolves around it now. In your life, you believed that to control problems, you had to run more and do more. False. To control the hurricane of debt or conflict, you must stop. You must become immobile, solid, and silent. When you stop internally, the external world organizes around your gravity. The I is the leader everyone looks to for direction today. Test the quantum observer. You are not the movie. In quantum physics, the observer is the consciousness that collapses reality. In daily life, you commit an error of identification. You believe you are the wind or your emotions. I am furious. If you identify with the wind, you suffer every time the wind blows. Entering the I means disidentifying from the drama now. It means stepping back and saying, I see fury in my body, but I am not the fury. I am the space where it occurs. You become the screen, not the movie. In the movie, there are explosions and disasters, but the screen remains white and intact. The eye of the hurricane is that part of your mind that has never been damaged today. Even if you have terrible trauma, there is a part of you, the observer, that watched the trauma but was not touched by it. That part is pure and immutable. Your job is to withdraw your consciousness from the wall of drama and shelter it in the I. From there, problems are seen as weather phenomena, not as me now. Third, the illusion of control fighting the wind. What happens if you leave the I and try to stop 250 km/h winds with your hands? You will fly away. You will become debris. This is what most people do. Resistance. They resist what is. My boss shouldn't be like this. Every time you say shouldn't, you are fighting reality. And reality always wins today. Resistance creates friction, and friction creates suffering. The I does not resist the wind, it allows it to spin. This radical acceptance does not mean resignation. It means recognizing that the wind is happening now, and fighting it mentally is a waste of energy. Paradoxically, when you stop fighting, you regain that energy now. Released energy is what you can use to find a solution. You can only manage what you have first accepted. If you deny the storm kills you. If you accept it and center yourself, you navigate it. You become the master of the elements by simply allowing them to exist without letting them define your internal state today. To 0 point, the infinite energy source. Physicists speak of the 0 point field, a state of quantum vacuum that contains infinite energy. The eye of the hurricane is a point of extremely low pressure. It is a vacuum that sucks. The destructive power of the hurricane does not come from the wind. It comes from the eye. The eye is the engine now. In your life, your inner peace is your engine. When you are at 0 point without judgment, without fear, you access the source. You connect to the cosmic Wi-Fi. It is in this state of supernatural calm where miracles occur. Your logical mind spins seeking a solution it cannot find. Stop. Meditate. Enter the I today. Drop the problem and stay in silence. Suddenly, pop. The solution appears. A call, an idea. The solution came from the void. If you never stop, you never allow higher intelligence into your system. Stress blocks intuition. Calm activates it. By inhabiting the silence, you allow the field to work on your behalf now. Detachment is not indifference. Many confuse being in the I, detachment, with I don't care about anything, apathy. That is evasion, not spirituality. The I is not indifferent to the hurricane. It is the cause of the hurricane. It is intimately connected, but not affected. Think of a surgeon during an emergency. There is blood and chaos today. The patient's family is in the eye wall. They cry and scream. They cannot help. The surgeon is in the I. He is calm. His pulse is steady. He doesn't cry. Is he indifferent? No. He cares more than anyone about saving the life, but he knows that to save it he needs emotional stability. His detachment is his greatest act of love now. You must be the surgeon of your own life. When your economy bleeds or your relationship breaks, hysteria is useless. Someone has to maintain calm to operate. Someone has to hold the vision of health and wealth while everything looks like death and poverty. Be that someone. Be the anchor of light in the darkness today. Kill a centrifuge, expelling the toxin. There is a mechanical benefit to spinning fast while maintaining the center. The hurricane acts as a centrifuge. Centrifugal force expels heavy objects outward. When you raise your vibration and stay centered in your I am, you spin at a high frequency. Low vibration, heavy things in your life get shot out now. Fake friends disappear. They get angry and leave. Jobs that don't value you end. Stagnant situations break. At first, it looks like your life is falling apart. No, the centrifuge is working. Your friend could not sustain your frequency, and physics expelled them. Do not run after the debris. Let them go. They are making space today. If you try to hold on to the old while raising your frequency, you will feel torn. Release. Stay in the center and let the centrifugal force clean your environment. This is the natural purification process of the quantum field, ensuring that only what is compatible with your new higher self remains within your orbit now. 7. Emotional aerodynamics, maintaining verticality. Skyscrapers in typhoon zones are not rigid. They are flexible with a deep steel core. They move with the wind but never lose their vertical axis. In life, there are two axes. Horizontal axis, time and the world, money, relationships. This moves. Vertical axis, consciousness, connection to the divine. This is eternal today. Suffering comes when you seek stability in the horizontal axis. I'll be stable when I have money. Impossible. The market changes. The only possible stability is in the vertical axis. I am stable because I know who I am. When you anchor in verticality, horizontal movement doesn't make you dizzy. You become anti-fragile now. Theta, the sanctuary of silence, daily practice. You cannot wait for the hurricane to learn how to build a shelter. You must practice accessing the eye every day when it is sunny. We are addicted to noise, radio, TV, phones. We fear silence because we meet ourselves there. But the eye is silence. If you don't practice silence, you have no access to your power today. I propose the I-Minute Challenge. Every hour set an alarm. When it sounds, stop everything for 60 seconds. Do not look at your phone. Close your eyes and breathe. Go to the center of your chest. Feel the stillness. Doing this 10 times a day creates a neural habit. It trains your brain to find the stress exit now. God is the eye. In all mystical traditions, God is found at the center. In the mandala, the deity is at the center. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." It doesn't say run and know. The eye of the hurricane is the presence of God within you. It is the place where duality collapses into unity today. When you are in the eye, you don't judge the storm as bad. You see it as energy. By not judging it, you stop feeding it with your resistance. The storm exhausts itself when no one feeds it. Being the eye is the highest form of prayer, telling the universe you trust your safety so much you don't need to defend yourself now. Practical exercise, the storm anchor. 1-360. Vision. Imagine standing up. Around you, visualize a wall of black wind, clouds, and flying objects, your problems. They spin at high speed. 2. Circle of protection. Visualize an invisible light barrier 2 meters around you. Inside, the air is absolutely still. There is sun today in your heart. 2. Axial breathing. Breathe, imagining air enters your crown and goes down to your feet, anchoring you to the earth's center. You are an iron column. 4. Affirmation. Look at the chaos. Say, I am the center. You spin, I observe. You pass, I remain. 5. The eye smile. Trace a very slight smile now. This micro-gesticulation sends a safety signal to the brain that deactivates fight-flight. Stay there until your pulse drops. From that position, respond to the person yelling or make the financial decision. It will be a wise decision, not a panic reaction. You are the master of the storm anchored in the eternal now today. Comparative 9. The ecosystem and recycling. Walk through the Amazon rainforest, the most complex ecosystem on Earth. Look at the ground. It is covered in dead leaves, fallen branches, animal droppings, and insect carcasses. Now ask yourself, where is the trash? There is none. There are no landfills, no garbage trucks. Yet the jungle smells of life. It smells of petrichor today. Nature has perfected a system of absolute circular economy. What is waste for the tree, the dead leaf, is food for the worm. What is waste for the worm is a feast for the bacteria. Mineral nitrates from bacteria become essential nutrients for the tree. The circle closes. Nothing is lost. Everything is transformed in your world now. Trash is a human concept. It is a failure of our imagination. Only humans create things the system cannot digest. Welcome to Comparative 9. Today we speak of the law of conservation of energy. Energy is neither created nor destroyed, only transformed. This has terrifying and wonderful implications for your life today. It means you cannot delete a negative thought or a past error. There is no delete key in the universe. If you try to bury your emotions, it is like burying nuclear waste in the garden. They poison everything you plant later. Today, we learn to be alchemists, turning your pain into the most fertile fertilizer that exists now. The physics of no waste, thermodynamics of the soul. Understand this. Everything is energy. Love, hate, and money are all energy. If you generate a massive amount of hate towards someone, that energy has to go somewhere. It does not vanish. If you don't recycle it, it gets trapped in your electromagnetic field or tissues. Unprocessed emotional trash becomes chronic blockages today. Physical trash rots outside. Emotional trash rots inside. Nature teaches that hiding dirt is a violation of physical law. When you say, "I'd rather not talk about this," you create a clog in the ecosystem. Imagine a forest that refuses to decompose fallen trees. In 10 years, the forest would suffocate without new space now. You are suffocating because your mental soil is full of unprocessed corpses, dead relationships, and broken dreams. We need to reactivate the decomposers. By acknowledging and processing your past, you release the stagnant energy back into the flow of life, allowing new growth and vitality to return to your personal ecosystem today. There's karma. It's not punishment, it's ecology. Karma is misunderstood as a moral judgment system. That is a childish view. Nature does not judge. Nature balances. Karma is simply the law of cause and effect in a closed system. If you throw a stone in a closed room, it hits you. Not because it hates you, but because it has nowhere else to go. Your life is a closed system now. If you pour poison into the river through judgment or theft, you will drink that poison downstream because the water is the same. Karma is spiritual ecology. If you emit generosity, the ecosystem enriches and returns larger fruits. If you emit scarcity, the ecosystem withers and you starve. You have the gardener's responsibility today. If your garden smells bad today, it isn't because God is angry. It's because you threw trash yesterday and didn't compost it. The solution is not praying for forgiveness. The solution is cleaning and planting new flowers. The universe is pragmatic, not moralistic. Take charge of your current output to ensure a healthy harvest tomorrow now. Thirdly, composting the soul, manure into roses. What is manure? It is waste. It smells bad and it's dirty. If you throw it in someone's face, it is an aggression. But if you bury it at the root of a rose bush, it becomes the most beautiful rose in the garden. This is the ultimate metaphor for transformation. We all have manure in our history, abuses, bankruptcies, or addictions today. You have two options with your manure. One, carry it in your pocket. Go through life smelling bad, feeling like a victim. Two, compost it. Use it as fuel for growth. The most successful people often have terrible pasts. They aren't successful despite their past, but because of it. They use trauma as nuclear energy to rise now. The rehabilitated addict becomes the best counselor. The bankrupt becomes the best finance teacher. If you deny your darkness, you waste your fuel. Do not be ashamed of your manure. It is black gold. You only need to know where to put it, at the root of your growth, not on the table of your social identity in this world today. 5e, scavengers, the function of enemies. In the savannah, there are animals nobody wants. Vultures, hyenas, worms. They eat death. But without them, the savannah would be an infected cemetery. Scavengers are the cleaning service. They eliminate what no longer serves. In your life, there are vultures, people who criticize and attack you. Your instinct is to hate them now. From an ecosystem view, they fulfill a sacred function. They are eating your dead ego. They point out exactly where you have open wounds that need cleaning. If an insult hurts, it's because there was necrotic tissue, insecurity, there. The enemy does you the favor of showing you where you are not free. Thank your scavengers today. Say, thank you for showing me my weakness. Thank you for taking away my false image. When you heal, the vulture leaves because there is no more dead meat to eat. By using their negativity as a diagnostic tool for your own inner work, you transform their malice into a catalyst for your absolute liberation and spiritual health now. Via the carbon cycle, giving and receiving. In the ecosystem, breathing is an exchange. Animals inhale oxygen and exhale CO2. Plants do the opposite. It is perfect symbiosis. If plants refuse to release oxygen, everyone would die. Accumulation stops the cycle of life. In the human economy, this is the law of circulation. Money, love and talent must flow today. Many suffer from energetic constipation. They want money but hate paying bills. They want love but won't be vulnerable. They broke the carbon cycle. If you want oxygen, money, love, you must exhale CO2, service, payment, generosity. You must be a channel, not a reservoir. Don't be a dead sea. Be a living river in your life now. Make everything that enters your life exit multiplied or transformed. By keeping the energy moving, you ensure a fresh and constant supply of resources. True abundance is found in the speed and quality of the flow, not in the volume of the hoard. Trust the cycle and allow your life to be a dynamic part of the universal exchange today. Phaisai, the shadow, the unused resource. Carl Jung spoke of the shadow, parts of us we repress because society calls them bad. Anger, ambition, selfishness. In permaculture, there is a saying, there are no pests, only imbalances. Your defects are not bad, they are misplaced energies. Repressed anger is actually strength and passion to defend what is right now. Your selfishness can be necessary, self-care. Internal recycling, shadow work, consists of unearthing these defects, cleaning them of moral judgment, and finding a useful function for them. Do not kill your internal beast, ride it. Use fury to train or close sales. Every energy is divine if used in the right context today. Zerfin, the butterfly effect, systemic sensitivity. In a balanced ecosystem, everything affects everything. The flap of a butterfly's wings in Brazil can cause a tornado in Texas. This means small things do not exist. A single piece of plastic can kill a turtle. In your quantum life, do not underestimate small actions. A smile to a waiter can change his entire day now. A negative thought in the morning can tint your whole day and cause an accident in the afternoon. You are a node in an infinite web. You never know how far the shockwave of your vibration reaches. Therefore, impeccability is necessary. You live in the house you soil. Every act of kindness cleans the air you breathe today. Forgiveness is biodegradation. Biologically speaking, what is forgiveness? Imagine an offense from 10 years ago as a dead animal you carry on your back. It is heavy and attracts flies. Forgiving is not saying it was okay. It is allowing the enzymes of time and understanding to decompose that corpse. It is a process of biodegradation in your soul now. You allow the solid structure of resentment to break into elemental components. You extract the nutrient, the lesson, and let go of the toxin. Forgiveness speeds up recycling. Resentment is trying to mummify the corpse. I will never forget. That is emotional necrophilia. Let it rot and turn into soil for new growth today. 9. The law of the vacuum, to let the new in. Nature abhors a vacuum, but needs it to create movement. Wind moves from high to low pressure. If your closet is full of old clothes, no new ones fit. If your mind is full of old beliefs, no new ideas fit. To activate recycling, you must deliberately create the vacuum. Throw things out, break old ties today. By creating a vacuum, you generate magnetic suction in the ecosystem. The universe is forced to fill that space. Since you now vibrate higher, what fills the vacuum will be of higher quality than what left. Don't be afraid to let go. The tree drops dry leaves in autumn because it trusts the spring is coming now. Practical exercise, the alchemical recycling plant. Transform a current piece of trash into gold. 1. Locate the waste. Identify a painful situation or error. 2. Separate toxin from nutrient. The toxin is the guilt. The nutrient is the lesson. 3. Composting. Visualization. Close your eyes. Imagine burying that situation, a dark sphere in a beautiful garden today. Watch the soil cover it. See a plant of golden light sprout from that potent energy. That plant is your wisdom. 4. Affirmation. Say out loud, "Nothing is lost in my universe. Everything is transformed. I turn this pain into power." Thank you for the fertilizer. Smile at bad events, you have a harvest coming now. Comparative 10, the closing. The Anthill and the human city. If you took a drone and flew over the Amazon rainforest, you would see fascinating structures on the ground. You would see giant mounds of earth with perfectly designed roads, ventilation systems that regulate temperature better than modern air conditioning, fungal cultivation chambers and nurseries. These are the anthills in this world today. Inside live millions of individuals working in terrifying synchrony. No one gives orders. There are no overseers with whips. There is no police. And yet, traffic flows, food is distributed, and defense is relentless. It is a perfect organism. Now take that drone and fly over New York or Tokyo at 8 in the morning today in your life now. You will see structures of concrete and glass. You will see roads. You will see millions of individuals moving. From the air, they look a lot like ants. But if you zoom in and look at the faces of those humans, the difference is abysmal. You will see stress. You will see loneliness. You will see medication for anxiety in this world today. The anthill is a superorganism at peace. The human city is a collection of egos at war. Welcome to the final chapter. Today we answer the million-dollar question. What happened to us? Why are we the only unhappy species on the planet? The answer lies in quantum physics and evolutionary biology. We lost the signal now. The superorganism, the end of the eye. Biology has a term for ants. Eusociality. It means the individual is not the real biological unit. The unit is the colony. A lone ant dies in hours. The ant does not say, "I want to be an artist." The ant is the colony. Its I is dissolved in the we. This is actually a state of absolute spiritual flow for the soul today. By having no individual ego, the ant has no fear of death and no doubts. It lives in a state of permanent certainty. Humans are social mammals designed for the tribe, but we have developed a disease, the hypertrophied ego. We have come to believe we are separate. This belief is the mother of all suffering in your life now. Quantum physics and biology have screamed for 9 chapters that separation is a lie. The modern city is a monument to that lie. We live in stacked boxes, separated by walls, not knowing who lives 2 meters from us. Depression is the cry of a cell that has been amputated from the main body. Reconnect to the whole today. 2. The chemical signal versus intellectual noise. How does the ant know what to do? It follows the signal, pheromones. It is an invisible trail that says food here or danger there. The ant does not stop to debate. It trusts. We also had a signal, intuition. It is the Wi-Fi of the unified field. But we fell in love with a new tool, the logical intellect now. The intellect is great for making tools, but terrible for navigating life. It is slow, it doubts, and it only uses data from the past. Intuition is instantaneous and uses data from the future. In the human city, we have turned off the signal and turned up the volume on the noise news, social media, and bureaucracy today. We have stopped being wise animals to become neurotic computers. Returning to the wild implies lowering the volume of the brain and raising the volume of the gut. When you prioritize your primal frequency over social static, you begin to move with the same unerring precision as the colony, finding your true place now. 3. Chronos, the cage of artificial time. Look at nature. Do you see any animal looking at a watch? Nature lives in kairos, the opportune moment. Everything happens when it must. The human city lives in chronos, clock time. We have invented an artificial linear measure that does not exist in the universe. We eat and work by the numbers on a dial today. This mechanical imposition creates friction called stress. Stress is the sound of your biology screeching because it is being forced into a rhythm that is not its own. We are the only species that uses an alarm clock. We live in permanent jet lag. To heal, you must find pockets of kairos where the clock does not exist now. Face the illusion of scarcity in an abundant planet. If there is food in the anthill, everyone eats. You will never see one ant hoarding 90% of the food while others die. That would be considered a mental illness, a cancer. In the human city, we have normalized this. We created an economic system based on fear and fictitious accumulation. We have forgotten how to share today. Civilization taught us the world is hostile. Save, protect, build walls. This mentality creates the reality it fears. By vibrating in fear of scarcity, we create systems that generate scarcity. To break it, you must be the rebel ant who trusts and knows the planet produces enough if the distribution flows now. V. Decoherence, the scattered light. The difference between a 60-watt bulb and a 60-watt laser is coherence. In a bulb, photons go their own way. It illuminates little. In a laser, photons march in perfect synchrony. That energy can cut steel. The anthill is a laser. Humanity today is a flickering bulb. Millions of wills fighting each other today. We feel weak because we are in decoherence. Our energy cancels each other out. This book has been a manual to align your vectors so your mind, heart, and action march in step. When you achieve personal coherence, you become a human laser, and a single laser cuts through the darkness of millions of bulbs now. V. Ubuntu, I am because we are. In African philosophy, Ubuntu means I am because we are. It is the perfect definition of quantum entanglement applied to sociology. Nature does not know the isolated individual. The lone wolf dies. The pack survives. Independence is a myth. The goal is conscious interdependence in your world today. It is recognizing that I need the doctor, the baker, and the tree that makes my oxygen. When you embrace Ubuntu, you stop competing and start collaborating. You see others as part of your own extended body. Helping your neighbor is not charity. It is self-healing. You are a vital node in an infinite living web now. Servants, the return to the wild, rewilding. How do we apply this at the office? I don't ask you to live in the woods. I ask you to bring the woods to the city. It's called rewilding the soul. 1. Rewild your diet. Eat what your great-grandmother would recognize. 2. Rewild your movement. Stretch, move, and walk barefoot. Remind your cells they are animals today. 3. Rewild your mind. Turn off screens. Recover your sense of awe. 4. Rewild your relationships. Touch people. Hug. Talk for real, not out of courtesy. Being wild is being undomesticated. It is refusing to be a farm animal that obediently produces and consumes. It is reclaiming your instinctive sovereignty now. Face Homo quantum, the next evolutionary step. The current human, Homo sapiens sapiens, is obsolete. Its software cannot handle the complexity of the modern world. It is breaking under anxiety and war. We are giving birth to a new species, Homo quantum. This human integrates the connected consciousness of the ant with the creative capacity of the individual today. You are a prototype of this new human. You are the bridge. You feel the pain of the old city, but you hear the call of the new jungle. Your mission is not to destroy the city, but to transform it into a garden, making technology serve biology, not the other way around. You are the architect of a resonant future now. 9. The biological mirror, the conclusion. We have reached the end of the journey. We started in the desert, learning to wait. We went through the jungle, learning to connect. We went down to the ocean to deepen. We danced with the tide and centered in the hurricane. We finally returned to the anthill to remember that we are one. Nature is your mirror today. Everything you see outside is a reflection of your state of consciousness. If you heal your relationship with nature, you heal your relationship with yourself. Quantum physics is just science discovering what the animal always knew. The universe is alive, it is mental, and it is in your favor. Trust the reflection now. Hex final exercise, grounding. When you finish the last line of this book, do this. Go outside, find a piece of natural earth, take off your shoes, put your bare feet on the ground, close your eyes. At that moment, a real electrical phenomenon will occur. Your body, charged with the stress of modern life, will discharge into the earth today. The earth, charged with free electrons, will rise through your feet. It is called earthing or grounding. It is the physical reconnection of the plug. Feel that tingling. It is Mother Earth saying, "Welcome back. I missed you." Breathe. You are no longer alone. You have returned to the network of life now. Conclusion. Return to the garden, manifesto of the quantum savage. The moment has arrived. You can close the cover of this book. You can turn off your device. The silence that follows now is different from the silence that existed before you started reading. Before, it was an empty silence, full of doubts. Now, it is a fertile silence, the silence of the jungle before dawn in your world today. It is the silence charged with the potential of a seed beneath the sand. We have traveled an impossible journey. We have dismantled the arrogance of the human intellect to kneel before the mastery of a blade of grass. We have used quantum physics not to build machines, but to understand why our hearts ache and how to repair them now. We have looked into the biological mirror, and for the first time we have not seen a stranger. We have seen our true face. We are not defective machines in a hostile city. We are nature seeking to express itself. We are the universe becoming conscious of itself through a nervous system. This is your instruction manual for today. I, the quantum savage. This ending is not a goodbye. It is a guide for the day after. The danger is that this remains just a book. We cannot allow you to return to behaving like a disconnected, frightened ant. From today, you adopt a new identity. You are a quantum savage. You are a bridge between two worlds, operating with the forest's OS now. You have the mind of a physicist. You understand that reality is energy, vibration, and frequency. You know the observer affects the observed. You have the heart of an animal. You respect your instincts. You smell danger and opportunity. You move with the cycles. You do not ask for permission to occupy your space today. 2 operating modes. Now you have the full map. When your life stops, you won't panic. You will activate desert mode, knowing you are in latency. When you feel alone, you will activate jungle mode and connect to the invisible Mycelium to download solutions. When the world is noisy, you will activate ocean mode to change the currents now. When you need to change your reality, you will activate Chameleon mode, wearing the skin of your desire until you are one with it. When fear paralyzes you, you will activate Mirage mode, walking through the firewall that does not exist. When chaos reigns, you will become the eye of the hurricane today. Third, the final barrier. The final barrier is fear. But look at nature. Do you see any unemployed birds, any trees stressed by inflation? Nature provides, always. Scarcity is a human fiction maintained by collective belief. If you dare to let go of fear and trust the network, you will find that the network holds you. You are the planet now. You are the earth that has given itself legs and eyes to look at itself. Go out there, but do not go out as you did yesterday. Go out with the secret. Go out knowing that the walls are made of mist and that you have invisible roots. Do the experiment. Test the law. Dare to live a week as if all this were absolute truth today. Face welcome home. See how the world bows before you. See how coincidences multiply. Go. Step out into the sun. Walk barefoot on the earth to reconnect the plug. Breathe. And remember the final lesson. Nature never hurries, and yet everything is accomplished. You are a vital part of that perfect unfolding intelligence now. Welcome to your natural state. Welcome to the mirror. You are no longer a victim of circumstances, but the conscious architect of your own ecosystem. The journey of the caterpillar has ended, and your flight begins in the vast, open sky of the eternal now. Trust your wings. They were designed by the stars themselves today.